Hi guys, my name is Oksana and today we will be talking about new multichromes from Clionadh Cosmetics, and these are the multichromes that are new to me. Of course, when they have restocked the stained glass collection, I got 18 pens and I just want to show you them, to showcase each of the shift and just let you know that Clionadh will have their big sale, Black Friday sale tomorrow, I believe, on their website. I will also leave the details in the description box. I hope that you will find this review useful. There will be 18 looks featuring all of the shades that I will have separately in each of the looks. So again, I just hope that you will like it. Please let me know in the comments below and we will get started. As you can see, I have two palettes in my hands and one of them, I'm not sure which one. Oh yes, so I have one of them fully filled with all the pens, but I also have another palette that is yet to be filled, and I think that I will get 9 more shades on sale on Clionadh website tomorrow just to have this palette fully filled, and I will close Clionadh Cosmetics question for a while. Maybe I will try another multichrome brands. If you have any recommendations, just let me know, drop me a comment. Besides the actual review, I will also rank these 18 pens so that you know which one I like the most and which one I'm not the fan of. And the last place, number 18th, it will be the shade which is called Lineage. And I will just read you the description from the Clionadh website just to describe you the shift. So this shade has a mint base that reflects pearly pink gold lime. I do agree with Clionadh and with the description. And this one is first to the last because it doesn't exceed my expectations. So when I look at the shade in the pan, I see the minty base, and all over this base there are golden and rosy particles. This is actually what I get when I swatch, and this is what I get when I apply this shade on my eyelids. So I do like the texture, I do like the shift. This is just not the best one, and I think that I will utilize this shade less than the others, but other than that, I don't have any issues with the shade at all. It's still stunning. I hope that you like the how it looks on the eyes. I hope that you just see how actually shiny it is. So it's not blonde in terms of the reflectiveness. It's still very sheer, shiny, and interesting to see. Is just comparing to others, this is not that spectacular in terms of the shifts, of course. So this is why this one is not on the top of the list, but definitely captured my eyes. Then another one that we will talk about, it will be Cobblestone. And this was the last shade that I added to my cart. The reason being, I wasn't really convinced by the swatches on the Clionadh website that I will like it. And don't get me wrong, I do like it. I like that there is no muddiness, there is no issues with the texture, so I like the shift. And in terms of the description, it's a grungy grey base with icy pink peach gold shifts, and I do agree that there is a grungy base. And when comparing this shade with Baroque, which is pearlescent multichrome, then in that case Baroque is a little bit more clear and a little bit brighter, so it doesn't make it that grungy as Cobblestone. It's still stunning, I still like it, not again in a way that will help me to get this shade to the top of the list, but it's still again stunning. Then another one that I want to talk about, it will be Translucency. This is another shade that is not that unique in terms of the shifts and the base, and this is why it's coming number 15, I believe, right? So in terms of the description, Clionadh says that it has a semi-sheer baby pink base, agreed, with small glitter particles, agreed, that shift blue, indigo, violet, pink, and tiny gold sparkles. So I do see a lot of shifts, but primarily it's basically blue and also rosy even particles or pink particles, right? The reason why it's not on the top is basically because the shifts are not that unique, and for this shade I have a dupe in my collection, like almost a dupe, and I must say that it will be from Pat McGrath. I think that you most surely know which palette I'm talking about, but if not, I will show you in a moment when we will have the comparison part. This shade looks very smooth on the eyelids. It doesn't throw me out of the comfort zone. I can use it in my office makeup looks, and I think that this is a bonus, like this is a benefit of this shade, but this is also being a drawback because it's not that unique, it's not that vivid in terms of the shifts, in terms of the base, because it indeed have a sheer base. So this is why I like this shade, but it's not that unique to be on the top of the list. Then another shade that I would like to mention, it will be from the new collection that Clionadh recently launched, and it will be Dimensional Multichrome, if I'm not mistaken. The shade I'm talking about is Redox, and this one will be sitting in my second palette. So this shade is definitely a new to Clionadh Cosmetics, because I have a lot of pans from different series, because they have different series such as deep iridescent multichromes, pearlescent multichromes, earthy multichromes, vibrant multichromes, like all types of multichromes that you can imagine they have. But this one is definitely new when we are talking about the texture, even though it's a little bit crunchy, and when you try to apply it, it's still very easy to smooth it out, to have this even texture on the eyelid. And in terms of reflectiveness, this is the most reflective shade that I have from Clionadh, and not only from Clionadh, from other brands as well. This is what I like about this shade, like the amount of actual particles that this shade includes is just mad, to be honest. I hope that you will see it in the swatches that I will show you, that this shade definitely has a lot of reflectiveness to it. In terms of the shift, it shifts lilac, pink, green, aqua with multicolored micro glitter and a silvery sheen. So yes, there is this micro glitter that doesn't bother your eyelid at all. And also, in terms of the shift, two primary colors that I have is violet to green. This is the main colors that I have when I have the shade on my eyes. But Clionadh also mentions that there is also green, aqua, lilac, pink. So yeah, I do agree with the description of Clionadh. I think that you will see this shift on the eyes. The reason why it's not to the top of the list, it's just because it's too dark for me, and this is why I can use it in only specific makeup looks when it comes to smoky eyes or something more grungy, something more dark, and it's not the shade that I would use for my everyday makeup. If this is not the shade that I will use and utilize in my everyday makeup, this shade just loses its points in terms of the practical side of the shade, if you will. Then another one is Glaziers Mark. So this is the new texture, and this is the texture that I'm not a fan of. This shade is from the Glitter Multichrome series, and I believe this is why I don't really like this texture. Although there is another shade from Glitter Multichrome I believe that I like better. So this one has a sheer orange base. I wouldn't say it's an orange, to be honest, definitely not, with medium glitter particles that shift indigo, violet, pink and orange. To be honest, I don't see orange in this shade. Maybe I'm being blind or something like that. I will of course show you the swatches, and primarily I can't even say that it's a multichrome. I can say that it's a duochrome. Like, I don't see many shifts in this shade again, but it still looks stunning on the lid. It has this glossy effect on the eyes. If it wasn't for this glossy and wet effect, then I think that it would be one of the last shades in this ranking. But right now, Even though I'm not a fan of the shift because I think that it's not unique at all, and for example another palette from Pat McGrath also features something similar, and considering the price point of these pens, I think that you don't really need to get it if you are not sure that you will like it. Of course, if you are sure that this shade will be just one of your favorites, then of course 100% get it. It's just that when you're trying to compare and think whether you can have another pen substituted to another one, I think that this shade just doesn't really worth the attention in terms of the multichromes, because it's not a multichrome. Another shade, Embroidery, and this is already a green family of Clionadh, and I must say that this is one of the shades that I couldn't capture that easily in terms of the shifts on the camera, but on the eyes it just looks, though grungy, yet still wearable. The reason why it's not high is because it's still on the darker side, but I still feel comfortable with this shade on my lids. So in terms of the description, it has a grey base with small medium glitter particles that shift lime, blue, purple. I definitely see lime and blue and purple. Indeed, I also see basically a brown base that is very, very vivid. You will actually see it on the swatches when I show you, and on the eyes it looks stunning. I like how even more shifts unfold when you have it on the eyes. Even when you look at it in the actual pen, it doesn't have that many shifts as if you apply it on the eyes. So on the eyes there is a lot to explore, and this is what I like about this shade. This is, by the way, the Hybrid Multichromes, another Clionadh series, and as per Clionadh, as the name suggests, are a fusion between our jeweled and glitter multichromes. Their buildable formula is great for a wash of sparkle over the lid or full saturation. So it definitely has a full saturation, it's very vivid in terms of the pigment as well. Another shade is Etched, and this is also glitter multichrome. So it basically has the same properties and characteristics that the shade Glaziers Mark has, because one of the main points why it's higher than Glaziers Mark is because I just like the shift better. Clionadh says that this is a semi-opaque cool purple base with blue, indigo, violet, pink shifts. I might believe that all the shifts are here, but primarily all I see is just blue and purple, and that's it. And I think that this is not a multichrome, this is a duochrome. So I will definitely just show you a comparison just for you to see that this is not the unique again shade and the unique pen. Another shade that I will tell you about is Grisaille. I hope that I pronounced it correctly. And according to Clionadh, it has a semi-pigmented terracotta base with medium glitter particles that shift turquoise, indigo, violet, pink. So it's also not a very unique shift. So it has this vivid, how Clionadh put it, terracotta base, rosy raspberry kind of base with blue particles all over it, but we can also see the pink particles as well. I wouldn't say that this is a multichrome. On the eyes it looks perfectly fine. Nothing too loud, but nothing too basic, and this is what I like about the shade. So it's still within my comfort zone to wear it to the office, but it also has something interesting that catches the eyes, especially the actual wet glossy effect on the eyes. I do have another shade that is quite similar, but Clionadh still has more reflectiveness to it. I will of course show you in a comparison. Wall of Ivy. I think that this one is the one that is recommended to get if you are looking for the basic multichromes that you will be comfortable to wear on your day-to-day life. So I think that it's a basic shift, but it's still very different on the eyes and on the actual swatches. So when I swatch it, I see these brown base and then blue and green particles all over it that make the actual shift. But when I apply it on the eyes, there is not much of the brownish base. There is much more greenish that appear, and that is primarily showing off. But it's just about turning your head at the different angles to see the brown base, and then you will also see how blue hits from the different angles. It's kind of the shade that is very typical in terms of the shift family that is sitting within, but in terms of the actual shift that this shade has and how it unfolds on the eyes, it's definitely something that you can explore, and it definitely the shade that you can get. In terms of Clionadh description, is a warm brown base with lime, aqua, indigo shifts. This one is definitely a multichrome. One more shade, Diadem. And I think that starting from this shade, these pens that I will mention, they are just my favorites. So Diadem is a rich turquoise base with icy pink, peach, lime, aqua shifts. And oh my god, it has everything that Clionadh mentions. Such a unique shift. I don't know how many times I said the word unique, but I do like that I don't really have a lot of dupes to this shade. I have only one, and it's from Glam Shop. Again, I will show you the comparison in a moment when we get to the comparison part. But this kind of shade is something that you can pair with the basic shades. It's something that you also can have for your colorful makeup looks. I have it today paired with Oxidize, by the way. We will talk about Oxidize just in a moment. And in terms of the reflection, in terms of the shifts, in terms of the glimmer particles that are included in the shade, it's again, it's mad, it's crazy. I tried to catch it by the camera, and I hope that you will see what I see and what I'm trying to tell you. You know, I'm not really good at actually describing the shades, so I'm trying to showcase it to you so that you can again just make your choice whether you need this one or not, if you are looking for the Black Friday sale on Clionadh website. Then another shade, it will be Trinket. And this is the type of shade that is a very basic one, but I don't have any dupes at all because of this very bright orange base. And then we also have the purple, blue and pink particles. I also see pink. Of course, the main ones are purple and blue, but green is also there, and I definitely see it on the eyes. I definitely see it on the swatches. I hope that you will see it as well. According to Clionadh, it's also an orange base with aqua, indigo, red shifts. So I see primarily rose shifts. I don't really see red shifts, but this is something just to debate about, basically. I just like how wet, again, it looks on the eyes. This one of the most glossy kind of effect on the eyes that it gives us. Just stunning. I don't have anything bad to say about this one. And I remember that I did the makeup look with just one basically eyeliner wing, and it just, you know, it is everything that this shade needs. You don't need to have a lot of mattes framing this shade. You don't have to have a lot of other shimmers to complete the look. It's already very independent, basically. I can't say it about all of the shades, but this one, in terms of the basic side of the shade, it's basic, but it has this resin, it has this special glimmery side, special again base, that actually makes this shade stand out among the others. We are already moving higher and higher, and another shade that I will talk about, it will be Baroque, and this one is from already the Pearlescent multi-chrome series. It has a similar vibe as Cobblestone, but this one is a little bit more clear than Cobblestone, and this is what I like about it. So this is the, I believe, one of the few with rosy to green shift that I can wear on my everyday life and I wouldn't get uncomfortable, because I think that there is mud on my eyes, you know, this muddy looking shift. For example, the one that we have in the multichrome that Pat McGrath in Divine Rose 2 presented us. And according to Clionadh, is a sheer mauve base with lilac, pink, peach, Carter's shifts. I'm not sure about the last word, how I pronounced it. I will let you know by text, but it doesn't really say about the green that I see on my eyes. It says lilac, pink, and peach. Ooh, that is maybe these Cartridge shifts is actually the one that I'm talking about, that has the green undertone. You will definitely see it on the eyes. I just love it. And this is again the only shade with the rosy to green shift that I can wear in my everyday life. Then another dimensional multichrome. So this is again the new series to Clionadh, and this is Oxidize. So this is the shade that I have today on my lid. In the middle basically, and I just paired it with Diadem, but Diadem is somewhere near the actually inner corner, and I just remembered that I didn't have anything applied to my inner corner. Well done. Okay, so this one, it's something that I was screaming about when I first got it on my eyes. I think that this is definitely the one that you need to try if you want to try the new Clionadh series, this dimensional multichrome. I will just include the makeup look that I have created with these, and how dimensional it is. I can't even describe, I can't even say the words. This is all that I will tell you. In terms of the shift, it shifts emerald blue violet with multicolored micro glitter and a silvery red sheen. And yes, there is again this micro glitter that is scattered all over this shift that is from emerald blue violet. This is the shade that I can't even dupe. I tried, but I can't. And I think that this is just one of the best characteristic of the shade that we have and of the pan basically. Again, it's very smooth. When it comes to that bright finish on the eyes, to that many micro glitter particles, then I think that the shade will look very uneven, inconsistent, but it's not about this one. Again, it gets chunky a bit when you apply it, but on my lids, I don't have to put many efforts to smooth it out. It make it itself. So no issues at all, again. Let's talk about Regal. By the way, I wanted to get Royal instead, but Royal was out of stock, it was sold out. So I thought that Regal and Royal, they always compare against each other, and this is why I thought that, well, I can get it, and if I like it, I will definitely get Royal, because everybody just says that Royal is even better than Regal. And Regal, oh my god, this is what all I can say about this shade, even though it's on a bit grungy side, so it has this vibe, and I'm not really a girl about grungy shades, to be honest. But when I applied it on the eyes, and when I even swatched it, I just saw how many shifts it features, how many different, and in terms of the undertones it has. For example, the description says that it has an indigo base with large glitter particles that shift gold, lime and turquoise. I also see red sometimes. I will show you the look that I have created, and I have paired this shade with the red matte from By Beauty Bay palette, and I think that it just made it, you know. So I think that even though the makeup look was pretty intense, it was still on a wearable side, and this is what I like about it. So even when I have the colorful look, I still want it to be wearable. I don't think that this one is wearable, to be honest, the one that I wear today, but I still think that if I have a little bit less of the color, and if I don't have false lashes, then definitely you can just transform this look onto something more day-to-day if if possible, of course. So just to sum up, basically, I like the texture, I like the shift, I like the uniqueness to the color, and also I like how it looks on my eyes. Then another shade that I want to feature today, it will be Lapis Lazuli. And this shade was an outsider in my eyes first, because when I first saw it, when I received the palette, I was like, why have I ordered it? Like, it seems very subtle in the pan. It doesn't seem bright enough, to be honest. It doesn't seem even shifty enough for the multichrome. And I was like, why? Why did I get it? I thought that I would regret picking it up, but actually, again, I haven't. I will just show you the makeup look, and what I like about this one is that it's basic and vivid at the same time, and this is the kind of vividness, again, that I can wear on my day-to-day basis. You hear it a lot today, but this is how I actually measure whether I like the shade or not. If I don't like the shade, then I can't use it on my everyday basis. And if I can't use it, then what's the point? Like, really, what's the point? If I can use even such a bright shade on my everyday basis, because I'm still comfortable with the texture, I'm still comfortable with the consistency, with the reflectiveness, then it's a win-win situation for me and the shade, right? Because it is not being forgotten by myself. So yes, this one, in terms of the shift, it has a grungy gray base with blue, indigo, pink, peach shifts. I don't see peach again, I just see blue, indigo, pink, and I definitely see a grungy gray base, but it doesn't look really grungy, and this is what I also like. It's still on the clear side of the shade that I like as well. So yes, I think that this one is just a great shade in terms of the combining the both vividness and basicness of the palette. Is that a word, basicness? I'm not sure, I will need to check it. Now, another shade, and we already have top 3, so pay attention. Number 1, it will be Niello, and this is already, by the way, the new series that we haven't talked about. This is the Electric Multichromes, and this is a dusty purple base with gold lime aqua shift. I would definitely describe it as a multi-level multichrome. All I see at first when I swatch, and I don't try to catch the lights and different angles, so all I see primarily is the purple to green shift. But when I try to catch the light, and I don't need to put a lot of efforts to do so, there are different layers that open when you're trying to understand the shade, when you're trying to look at it at different angles. When I applied it on the lids, it looks different. So you see the green shift, and then you also see how purple appear from somewhere at the corner of the eye. Looks unforgettable, to be honest. This is what I like about this shade, that it definitely exceeds your expectation, and it's different. It has, again, multi-levels that you can definitely just observe from different angles, and I can't really dupe it. I mean, I don't have a lot of multichromes. The only multichromes that I have are Glam Shop, Clionadh, and Lethal Cosmetics. But even though, if I don't have in around like 25 shades the actual dupe for the pan, then I think that it can be counted as the one that is at least interesting and at least something worth to get. Then another shade, and it will be number 2, and this is of course Mural. I think that this is the shade that is one of the best sellers of Clionadh, especially of the green family. So in terms of the description of the shade, it's a mint base with orange, peach, yellow, lime shifts. This is such, again, a multi-level type of shade. I like to pair it with Natasha Denona Xenon palette. If you haven't watched a review, please go and watch it. What I like about this one is that I can just use it all over my lid without having any mattes, without having any other shimmers, like anything at all. Only, for example, chandelier in my inner corner, and the makeup look is completed for me, because this one is such an independent and such a unique shade. I think that this is the best seller for a reason, and I will definitely show you how I catched the actual shifts. And I need to tell you, it wasn't hard at all. So you just stand in front of the camera and you'll see that all the shifts are already catched by the camera, so you don't need to do anything else, you don't need to play with the lighting, anything. This is one of the shades that you should definitely pick up. Although on my Ukrainian channel, one of the girls mentioned in the comments that they had this shade, but they were looking too grayish on them. So you may also consider this comment before buying, but on myself, I don't have any issues. I like it. The first place goes to new series of Clionadh Cosmetics, of course. This is Jeweled Light, and this is the lighter series of jeweled multichromes, which are on the darker base. They are very shifty, but this Jeweled Light, they are also shifty, but they are on the grayish base as far as I understand. And this one, the one that calls Burnish Lite, just captures my heart till today. I think that this is one of the best green to orange shades in terms of the shift as well, in terms of the texture. It also has a lot of reflectiveness to it, and it's very light indeed. So I do like that it's very consistent, it's very even in texture, it's very light in texture. I didn't want to basically remove the makeup, and I think that this is one of the best compliments to the shade and to the pan, or to the palette basically. Just to let you know, this shade, it just got me believe that I think I may like the Jeweled Light series, and I want to get even more shades, for example such as Ferric and other ones. So I will definitely just watch a review before the Black Friday starts on Clionadh website, and I will definitely pick up some more shades from the Dimensional Multichrome and also from the Jeweled Light series, because this one just got me, to be honest. It just, I can't get over this shade all over these days. And I went today to the office and I also used this shade just all over the lid without framing, the mattes. Perfect, just perfect. Of course, I will show you how it looks on the eyes so that you can see what I'm talking about. In terms of the description, it has a grey base. Yes, I was right. That shifts bright copper yellow Carter's mint. Again, this word that I don't know how to pronounce, but I think you got me. So, these are all the shades that I wanted to mention and showcase today to you. Now let's get to comparison part, and this is the part where it gets interesting because I don't have a lot to compare with, to be honest. So first I want to show you the comparison of Etched with Delicious Delights from Cosmic Brushes. And by the way, if you're wondering what are the mattes that I used in this makeup look today, they are from Delicious Delights. I think that this is one of the best palettes in terms of the colorful palette. I used today purple and also blue row, and I just like it because it took me around, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to create this look. So what I want to show you is, I want to show you the shade Sugar Plum with the Etched from Clionadh. They both have this purple base and they shift from purple to blue to rosy glimmer particles all over it. So I hope that you will see the difference, or maybe the similarity, anything you'd like, you can just see. And also this Etched pan can be swatched against the Ninhedrin palette that is called ACI 20. So this is the one in the corner. They are not that similar, but there is this kind of vibe that you will definitely get. Another shade that I would like to compare is Glaziers Mark, and I already told you that I have a shade that actually looks a lot like Glaziers Mark from Clionadh. So it will be Pat McGrath palette Utopian Dream, and it will be also Glam Shop single multichrome shadow in the shade Virtual Pink. They are not the same with the Glam Shop. They definitely carry more similarity with the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette with this purple glitter shade. So basically they are both glittery in Pat McGrath and also in Clionadh, and this is why they also have the same color base and they look pretty similar. Now another shade that I want to show you is a Lapis Lazuli. And this one I will also show you with the Pat McGrath Subversive palette. She has this awesome duochrome in Subversive, which is from dark blue to the purple base and also a little bit of brown. It's a bit grungy, so it's definitely on the more darker side. The shade Lapis Lazuli even looks slightly brighter, but they have again the same vibe, and this is the most similar shade that I could find for Lapis Lazuli. Then another shade that I will show you is Translucency from Clionadh, and it is definitely almost the same with the shade from Pat McGrath Subliminal palette. Just look at this semi-sheer base and also this purple to blue to peach particles all over the base. They have the same vibe, and again they are very similar. I think that if you put one next to each other on the eyes, you will not see much of the difference. Maybe Clionadh is a little bit more reflective, but Pat is also dimensional enough. Then the shade Regal. This one I swatched against Glam Shop, and it's also single multi-chrome shadow, which is called It's a Hit. And they are not similar. I don't have anything similar to Regal. I just want to show you, maybe they have some similarity or maybe not. I already told you that they don't. But just for you to see even the shift of the Glam Shop, It's a Hit. I think that this shadow has definitely multi-levels, multi-layers. From different angles, it reveals more and more shades. Just perfect. Now, another shade that I will show you is Baroque and Cobblestone, and they will be swatched against each other. And I will also show you the shade from the Glam Shop palette, so it's not a single shadow, it's already a palette. Sorbate it is called. I'm not sure whether I pronounce it correctly because I don't know Polish. So this is the shade which is called Dla Ochlody. Again, I don't know Polish. And this shade from the Glam Shop palette is definitely the favorite one. So I like the shift, and also I like this very bright pink glimmery particles all over the base. They are not similar, they just have the similar vibe, and they are, I believe, from the same family, just for you to see. Another shade that I will show you is Embroidery, and I will definitely show it and swatch it against the shade from Ninhedrin palette by Adept Cosmetics, and the shade is ACI 25. Of course, Embroidery reveals much more of the shifts, of different shifts, but ACI 25, in terms of the, general color and general vibe, something that reminds remotely of the shade Embroidery. Then from Ninhedrin, I also took the shade ACI 22 and I swatched it against Wall of Ivy. Also, of course, Wall of Ivy is much more shifty. It has a much vivid base, but it has a similar vibe as ACI 22, so something that reminds remotely again. Diadem I swatched against Glam Shop Single Multichrome Shadow in Even Better, and they definitely carry the same vibe. Again, they are different, but they are from the same undertone and tone family. They just have a different glimmer particles all over the base, but I do like the reflectiveness of the both, and Glam Shop is also very interesting to look at. Another shade is Trinket, and this one I compared against Glam Shop again, but from the Sorbate palette, and the shade that I took is it also has a bit more orangey base, and it's Smoochie or Wok, something like that. They are both stunning, but they are not the same at all. Maybe they are the same in terms of the wet and glossy effect. but they are definitely not the same in terms of the color and the vibe. Then the shade Grisaille I compared with a lot, and I found out that the Tom Ford Pretty Baby has this duochrome, which is indeed similar to Grisaille Clionadh pen. You can now see how exactly they are similar. So they have this terracotta base. Of course, Tom Ford is not that vivid, but something close. And they both have these blue to purple glimmer particles all over the base. Then I also compared Niello to It's a Hit from Glam Shop Single Multichrome Eyeshadow, and they definitely have a lot of similarities between them. They are not the same, even in texture, even in the effect on the eyes, but they definitely have some crossover shifts that can be perceived as a little bit close to each other. And Burnish Lite, by the way, I also compared with one of the shades from Ninhedrin palette. I will also let you know. It also carries a bit similar vibes. This is ACI 22. Of course, Burnish Lite, much more dimensional, much more levels and layers of shifts, but something like remotely close. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which is your favorite shade, and of course let me know whether you want to see any more videos from myself. I have Glaminatrix palette that is already on the track for the review, so I hope that you will see the video soon, not in 2 weeks. I hope so, but I don't promise. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next videos. Bye guys, have a good one.